Hey everyone, we'll wait for 2 minutes for the folks to join. Hey folks, we'll wait for another 2 minutes before we get started. Just seeing if more folks are joining actually. Uh, every second I see that more folks are joining, so we'll wait, give them a couple of minutes chance to join. Anyways, the sessions are going to be recorded, so don't worry if you miss anything. We'll share the docs of Kickoff, like exactly what are the topics of the hackathon, what are the submission process, right? Where you can ask questions. So most of you are already part of our WhatsApp group. So it is there you will be asking the questions, and we have a team of folks who would be resolving any of the questions that you might have. So it's already 9:32. I think we can start, right? So I'll give a short intro about who we are, right? So we are from Raga AI. I head their AI team, and Kiran here is a tech lead in the AI team, right? So basically, Raga AI works in a GenAI domain, right? We build toolings, apps for making sure that any GenAI application, whoever any developer is building, are reliable and secure. What do I mean by that? Basically, LLM hallucinates. What does that mean? Like if you're asking certain questions from ChatGPT or Cloud AI, there would be certain times that it gives you a wrong answer, right? Or it might give you in a very toxic or biased way in the answer, right? So what Raga AI does is basically making sure that the applications are reliable. It doesn't gives you any wrong information. If it gives that, we are able to evaluate that, quantify those things. You can read more about Raga AI. I think most of you might have done on the website. So what we are doing, we have released an AgentNeo package very recently. We already have 1.2K stars, right? And thanks to a lot of you in that, right? The AgentNeo package is mostly about tracing any multi-agentic system, right? Any multi-agentic systems can be, right, if you have a traveler agent where you're asking a questions about how to plan a travel, and the agent is basically playing a role of tool calling, different roles played by a different agent. And you might have heard about different popular tools like Devin AI, right, which is a software engineer, AI-based software engineer, right? So these are basically multi-agentic systems. So what AgentNeo does is basically log information from this multi-agentic system and evaluate those multi-agentic system in terms of its quality and also in terms of its security. Right? Is the application secure? So that is where we have done a open source release of package called AgentNeo. So as part of this hackathon, and this is going to be a week hackathon. So today's when we are doing our official kickoff, right? You can start submission from today also, right? And you will follow the submission guideline process. Kiran will walk you over through the whole process in terms of what are the topics, walk you over through our library package that we are releasing the open source, and walk you through the submission guidelines, right? So you can submit as a team, individually, however you decide. If you are looking for folks to join you as a team, we'll help you in that. I think most of you have submitted your details in the Google form that we shared on the WhatsApp group. So Using that will help you in terms of finding your team partner, right? And then registering as a team. So registration of the team can happen anytime before submission deadline, right? 25th is the submission deadline. So before that, anybody can register as a team and submit, right? We are totally okay with that. So any questions that you have during the presentation, right, during which Kiran will walk you through, any questions that you have, please go to the chat section that you can see. Mention your question there. We'll be happy to take those questions one by one, right? And of course, that goes without saying, right? As part of this hackathon, there are a couple of opportunities that you might get, right? We are looking for interns, right? LLM interns, backend interns, front-end interns who can get involved in the AgentNeo package. So this is a pipeline that we have built in terms of hiring folks as interns too and as a full-time job offer too, right? So both are the type of candidates that we are looking for, right? Slack is, we'll take that question one by one, right? The other thing that I wanted to address, right, like, is the prices. Apart from the job hiring and from for interns hiring, right? There are also prices that $1,000 in cash is the first prize, $500 is the another prize. There is also $250 prizes, right? So there are a bunch of prizes, and we are also giving Amazon vouchers based on that. Any notable works. Plus, also if someone does an innovative submission, there is an additional price that we are offering to you, right? So everything is noted out in the documents that we are going to share. So I'll ask Kiran to take the panel, address the audience here, and walk them through like basically the whole documentation of how exactly the AgentNeo hackathon is going to be, right?
Yep. Sure. Thanks.
I think
Thanks, Jay.
you can be in highlight. I can just go in the background. Yeah, thanks.
Thanks, Jay. So welcome everyone. I see 84 attendees already, and it is growing by the minute. So we can start. I'll walk you through the first the library and then all the details on the hackathon. And once this session ends, we'll also be sharing you the recording of this particular um, session as well as all the details that we cover in this. So I hope most of you are already aware of the package. This is our GitHub package, the AgentNeo package. The branch that you guys would be working with is the Hackathon branch, and this is the main branch that you should be focusing on. You'll be forking this particular branch, and this is where you will be raising PRs to. So you can go to this particular package, look at it in more detail. Uh, Now we can go to the details of the hackathon itself, right? So we'll be sharing this particular document, whatever we cover through this after in the WhatsApp as well as the Slack channels. And during the session, in case you have any doubts, please feel free to post it. We'll be taking it towards the end. And in case it couldn't be addressed in the session, we'll take it up in WhatsApp also. Okay. So first of all, welcome all of you guys to the hackathon. I know it is a bit daunting experience to join a week-long hackathon. So we'll begin from today to 7 days. The hackathon would be running for all these 7 days. And this is the main page where you will be having all the details of the hackathon. If you go towards the left, you have the link. I'm sure you already know it because you joined through that. Then there is the team registration form, which some of you guys might have already registered. And then there is a submission form. In case you haven't registered your teams, please make sure you do that as quickly as possible. Then there is a submission form. We'll come to it later, but this is regarding the submission of your solution. Towards the right, you'll find some essential links, which includes the code repository, the AgentNeo repository, which I just showed you. Then there is a detailed documentation of AgentNeo. You can click and go through that. Here you'll find more information on the package itself, the different sections regarding the packages, regarding the details of the architecture, the basic usage. So it is very useful for you to get familiar with the package itself, right? Now coming back, there is WhatsApp and Slack for support. You can also email us your queries if you have any particular queries. We'll respond back to you through mail also. Then there is the package README itself, which again would help you to get you introduced towards the package itself. There are some examples also. So in case you want to first use the package and get familiar with that syntax, the example link is here. It is also part of the GitHub repository, which I showed earlier. Now, once you finish this part and then come down, the first part we'll be going through is the library walkthrough. So by library walkthrough, what we will be doing is I'll try to get you familiar with the AgentNeo package itself. This is the basic architecture of our AgentNeo package. So before um, going through this, AgentNeo is actually a combination of multiple different modules, right? So I'm sure you guys know about LLMs and agentic applications because that is all the rage these days. So as an LLM, when it is capable of using tools, that is what we call agents, right? So AgentNeo is a package that is used to trace these agentic applications, then do evaluations on those agentic applications, then show different analysis on whatever data we have collected in a dashboard, in a very beautiful dashboard. You'll see it later. So this is the architecture of that particular application. So we have a very user-friendly code using decorators, and it is in Python. And from that, towards the next module, which is our tracing module. Tracing module is the module that is responsible for collecting all the details of the agent that is happening. So for example, an agent is running. So we collect details about whatever LLM calls are happening, what all tools were called, and much more details we collect, and you'll get to know that more in detail in the documentation, right? Now, all the details that we have collected, we store it in a local database, and which we use a Flask server to serve those details, and it is showed in a dashboard. The dashboard is designed in React, and then there is also an evaluation module which is used to do evaluation on the data that we have collected on the agents. So as you can see in the library, there is Python backend code. There is a Python code which is responsible for tracing. There is a Python server that is our backend part. Then the DB itself has written in SQLite. You also have the evaluation module, which is also written in Python. And then you have the front end, which is written in React. So you have a group of languages, and I think there is something for everyone here. If you go down, there is a detailed explanation of different parts of AgentNeo. So in the beginning, there is a demo video to walk you through an application of AgentNeo, where we show that how do you trace an application, and the code for that is available in the repository. So how do you trace it? And from tracing, how do you visualize it in the dashboard? So it is a complete journey of a single application. Now coming down, we have also explained the structure of the AgentNeo application. So if you go to GitHub, you'll find this particular structure where we have the AgentNeo package. And inside that, there is the config part, which includes all the different configuration files. Then there is the data part, which includes all the um, data related stuff, where the SQL tables and that part. Then below that, we have the evaluation module. As I showed above, we have an evaluation module. This includes all the different tests, etc. So that would be part of this. Below that, we have another folder for server. Server includes all the details regarding your dashboard, the backend, and the Flask API, etc. Right? Then there is a tracing module. All the tracing related files you will be finding inside this tracing module. Then there is the UI, which is the dashboard, the React code, which I previously discussed, right? So you'll find all the details inside assets, the dist file, and the source file. Source file is the single part which contains all the different source code files. Then basic utility functions are put in the utils. So this is the same structure which you find in the GitHub repository. Going below, you will find the different components, starting with the tracing components. We have explained most of the components here. We have tried to make it as simple as possible for you guys. So, but I understand it could be daunting seeing a package for the first time, right? So in case you have any doubts, be sure to ask it now, or you can ask it in the WhatsApp. We'll be always available to clear your doubts. So coming back to the components, first is the tracing module, which so tracing module is what we use to trace different applications, agentic applications. What we trace are LLM calls, the tool usage, and the agent interactions. We have given a basic example on how we apply our tracing part. This is the main code where we use decorators to trace LLMs, and this is the decorator that is used to trace tools. There is a small code walkthrough video here, which will take you through the different parts in the code which are responsible for the tracing module. So in case you want to work something on the tracing part, this would help you there. Now coming below, there is the evaluation module. So evaluation module is responsible for actually evaluating the agent that we have traced. So evaluation here means assessing the quality of the agent, right? So there are already 4 different metrics that are implemented, which includes goal decomposition efficiency, goal fulfillment rate, tool call correctness rate, and tool call success rate. So you can find all these metrics already implemented in the repository, and you can find the code for this also in the repository. And we have attached a video to give a walkthrough of the module, evaluation module. How is the code organized, and how would you make any changes in that module if that is something you will select in the topics that will come, right? And there is a basic usage code which would show you how to use this module. So from AgentNeo, we are importing evaluation. We are defining an evaluation, and then whatever metric we need to run, we are giving its name and then executing the evaluation to get the results. Right now, we have already covered the tracing module and the evaluation module. Now, the third biggest module is the dashboard itself. Right. So our dashboard is created in React, as I said. There is a Flask API server in the backend. And then, yeah, Amrita will take up that question. I think many people would have some similar questions, right? So backend is in Flask, and we store the data using SQLite, right? And this is how we launch the dashboard in a particular port. Again, here, similarly, we have a code walkthrough showing the UI component and how the code is organized in the repository so that you will be able to understand on how to make changes if you need to make UI changes. Now coming to the fourth part, this is our Flask server, which is responsible for serving all the data that we have collected in the database. And also this is responsible for serving our pages, static pages that we have created in React. Now, in this Flask server, you'll find more details on the different endpoints that we have, how what are the endpoints we use for project trace data retrieval, and also the different other endpoints which we use for maintaining the health and checking the health of maintaining the cache of the Flask server. Now, coming down, there are two more important but sorry. So there is the API endpoints which are available in the Flask server. You can go here and see it in detail. This is a very detailed documentation where you will be able to find all the different API endpoints that are available in the Flask server. Now coming back, there is also another document for dataset schema, so which shows you the entire database schema, the different tables that are there in the database, and what are the different items that are present in the database. So this is our library walkthrough. I'm sure you'll have doubts on it. We can take it up towards the end. But one question that has come up from Amrita is that can we use Angular from the front end part? So, Amrita, as you see, most of the dashboard part is done, right? So it is done in React. You'll need to use React itself for that because we can't change the framework itself. So most of that particular part, you'll need to continue with the existing frameworks. But in case you have any better idea, you can get us through mail. Right now, since we have gone to the library walkthrough, now you'll also get this document. As I said earlier, also we'll be sharing this document. You can go through it in detail, watch all the videos that were added, and in case you have any doubts, just let us know. Now we'll come to the main part, which is our hackathon topics. I think all of you guys are eagerly waiting for the topics that you have. Just give me a minute. So, as you saw earlier in our library, there are very different components, right? There is a front-end component, there is a back-end component, then there is a huge Python component. It includes evaluation modules, there are tracing modules and everything, right? So any people interested in any particular part also would be able to contribute to this. That is something we have made sure, right? So you can pick any particular topic. So let's say you are someone who are interested. We'll see the topics in detail also. Let's say you are someone who is interested in front end only. So we have topics that have catered to this, and you'll be able to make sure just work on the front end side. If you are someone who is familiar with the backend side, you can just work with that. If you're someone again familiar with the Python, most welcome. There are many modules for you. And someone who is good in all, again, that is good. And this is where selecting a good team comes in, right? And if you select a good team, all the different members of your team could help each other in places where someone else is weak, right? Now let's go to the topics itself. So before going to the topics, you can see that the topics itself are divided into different sections. Like we'll first go through the core features. Now, the core features, the first feature is evaluation module enhancement. So we saw the library, there is the evaluation module, and the first section of topics is regarding improving the evaluation module itself. So you can see numberings here like 1.1, etc. So this particular thing, like someone can pick 1.1 as their topic and then they can work on it. And we would urge you to complete the entire thing if you are picking this. And you can work on multiple topics and that is encouraged. There is no problem with that. Just make sure that you complete each topic before jumping to the other, right? Now, coming to back to the topic, the first topic is adding custom LLM as a judge metric. So as I said, we already have four metrics. Four of these are LLM as a judge metric, but these are predefined LLM as a judge metric, right? So we have already determined what they need to do. And what we need you to do is to design custom LLM as a judge metric. So what do you mean? We mean by custom LLM as a judge metric is the user, the person who is using the AgentNeo application should be able to mention what is the application I want to use this for evaluating. So let's say someone wants to evaluate hallucination, they should be able to do that. And what are the different points is it should allow the user to define their own evaluation criteria using the language models. They should be able to support different AI providers like OpenAI or Anthropic, which creates cloud. And the user should be able to give different custom scoring mechanisms and rubrics. Now, you can go through each of these topics, and towards the end of the topics, we have also provided some references as we expect not all of you to be well versed in these things. So let's say you pick LLM as a judge. You can go to the reference and some reference is already given for LLM as a judge. You can go to it, get more information on it and use that information to actually create this particular feature, right? Now, second feature is compare metrics between multiple projects. Now, once you see the UI, you'll understand that each of the different trees. So the structure is that there is a project. Inside a project, then there are different traces that we collect. So when there are multiple projects, as we saw that there are multiple evaluations that can be done. So this particular feature, what it does is you can compare between two particular projects. So let's say project A had some matrices evaluated on the same data points you are evaluating project B. Now it should be able to compare which project was better by how much and what is its statistical significance and that particular things, right? So create visualizations to compare different projects side by side, analyze historical trends and test for statistical significance. This is this particular um, topic. Similarly, there is another topic for adding more agent evaluation metrics. So as we saw, we already have 4 agent evaluation metrics. You can refer them and you can go on and add fifth, sixth, or seventh more evaluation metrics, right? The only thing you should be aware of is like when you are adding a new metric, each of these metrics should be useful. So let's say we already have 4 metrics. The fifth metric which you add should be uh, something that evaluates and provides some sort of insights. So it should be a good evaluation criteria. That is the only thing we are looking for here. Similarly, one thing you could do is we are evaluating these agents, and as I said, we have different matrices, right? So currently how the system is put in place is one evaluation happens after the other, which is a wastage, as you guys would already know. So either we need to have it done in parallel or asynchronously, which would make better use of the computer resources and which would fasten the evaluation itself. This is the fourth topic. Now coming to the fifth topic, you can add support to the different RAG metrics. So we have given the libraries here, the links to the libraries. RagChecker library is a popular library. Similarly, there is another library called RagaAI's. You can pick any of these libraries and then you can add support for this in the evaluation model. So these are the 5 different topics in the evaluation model. Coming down, you have a lot of details on these particular 5 topics that we have discussed. There are different references. So you can go to that, use these resources. And in case you have any doubts, just let us know. Now coming down, there are second set of topics that we will see is the security features. So there are 3 topics here. So one is the jailbreak detection. So in jailbreak detection, one is you will need to detect if there are attempts to bypass the AI model restrictions. Also, you can use pattern matching or semantic analysis to find any jailbreak attempts. So there are some models given below and some packages given below which are able to detect these things. So it is totally up to you how you would be able to combine this, right? Similarly, we have some another topic where you can add the content filtering capability. So content filtering is basically filtering out the inappropriate content. Um, so let's say there is some personal info that is being shared, you can filter that. There are some API keys, which usually happens in case of code, right? People push out API keys of let's say AWS API keys, OpenAI API keys. So you could prevent that. So this is one sort of content filtering. And then there are other sensitive and inappropriate details that you can um, filter out, right? And the details of all such packages are given below. Similarly, if you the third topic is to add support for red teaming. So we have provided 2 libraries which are very popular libraries in red teaming, especially Harmbench. So you could use these libraries and then provide uh, add these into the AgentNeo package, right? So these are the 3 security features. Now coming back, let's go to the third framework integrations. So if you go to the AgentNeo documentation, you would find that we already have integrations with some particular LLM frameworks like OpenAI and Light LLM. Similarly, we also support some um, orchestration frameworks like RagaAI, AutoGen, etc. So other than these LLM frameworks, you can add support to any other LLM frameworks, right? So going through each topic, it will be clear that other than OpenAI and Light LLM, you can add support to the REST API LLM tracing. So REST API LLM tracing is when you call an LLM using a REST API endpoint. This usually can be the case if you are using something like Olama or any locally hosted model or something else which is hosted in a server and you are calling it yourself, right? Similarly, you can add support for AWS Bedrock, Anthropic, or Grok. So you can pick any one of these and then you can work on it, right? And as I said, we existing integrations are there for CrewAI, AutoGen, LangGraph, and OpenAI Swarm. So you can pick any of these integrations and then you can improve those integrations. You can see what is the current state. In case you want to improve it, you are welcome to do that. Similarly, if you see the syntax, there are trace agent, trace LLM, trace tool, right? So one of these syntaxes is tracer.trace tool. Now, in this syntax, currently we analyze network calls as well as tool calls for the Python functions. We also would like you to add support for vector databases, right? So there are many popular vector databases like Pinecone, VV8, or Milvus, or anything else, ChromaDB. So you could use any of these vector databases and you could add integrations for that. Similarly, you could add integrations to LangChain and Llama Index. So currently we have integrations for OpenAI and LightLM. So you could use that as a reference and then go to integrate these packages as well. There is another agentic application, orchestration application called Multi-On. So you could add integration for that package as well. Now going down, there are memory profiling capabilities. So in this particular topic, what we are looking for is like when there are LLMs that are working, there could be certain spikes of memory, there could be memory leakages and all. So if you could detect those, that is something we would like. Similarly, you could add any custom trace exporter. So we are storing these traces currently in SQLite files, and we would like if you would like to work on this, what you need to do is to write exporters for this to popular uh, trace visualization platforms like Grafana, Datadog, or you could export it to other custom formats also like JSON or any CSV format like that. Here also you'll find lot of references below. So actually, there are lots of terms I'm throwing around and lots of topics I'm discussing. So don't be overwhelmed. You can choose one topic, you can focus on it. In case you are having any doubts, again, as I'm telling again and again, just talk to us. We'll be happy to guide you on that. Now, coming to the UI UX side, for the people among you who are interested in the UI UX side, um, so this is a very important feature. One is the implementation of the agentic playground. So one is we like to you to work on implementing a drag and drop UI using React Flow, the link for which is given here. You will find in references the sample applications which work similarly. And what we want in the application is mentioned here. So majorly, we would like different custom nodes like agents, tools, and AI models. And people should be able to drag and drop them and connect them to form a complete agentic framework. uh, this is the main agent playground implementation part. And then there are different sides of it where you should be able to save it, load different agentic configurations, and then you should be able to execute the agent directly from the UI. Similarly, the references are given below. You can see the references. The next part is the dashboard improvements. So as I said, we already have a dashboard which you can see in the run the code and visualize it. So in the dashboard, one of the features that you could add is to perform A/B comparison between different traces or different projects in the UI, where we would be able to side by side compare between different projects and then export the results in CSV or PDF, and also to show different graphs of these comparisons, right? So this is one of the topics. Then the next topic is to create new visualization components. So we obviously have added some graphs, existing graphs, but we welcome you to add more graphs, which could provide better insights for the people. And similarly, this is for the UI enthusiasts. You could add a dark mode support based on the system theme. You have the different references for that given below. Now, this are the main topics that uh, we are giving you, right? But there is another option too. You can go through the library, and if you feel that there is a very good topic that you'd be able to work on and it would add something to the AgentNeo package itself, you can get to us. And if that topic is very interesting and you are able to solve it, you'll receive an additional $500 for that. So this is another way to earn more prizes. So as I said, you can choose one of the existing topics. Then you can go, if you, other than these topics, you are able to find any better topic, you can communicate with us, and then you stand chance to earn more prizes. Now, I'm sure if there is any doubts, you are posting it. Now, coming back, we went through the library, we went through the different topics of Agent New. Now we look at how would you submit the solution. Just give me a moment. Yep. So you are familiar with the library now. You are familiar with the topics. Now let's say this is the most yeah, sure, we'll share the Notion doc. So now you are familiar with the topics, right? Now, next thing is obviously you'd be thinking, how would I submit the solution? How would I work on the solution? Now, let's go to the submission guidelines itself, right? So in this particular part, what we will do is first I'll discuss the submission guidelines. What is the different procedures you'd submit the solution itself, and also we'll walk through a sample case. Like I'll walk through a demo case where, in case you are implementing one of the features that we discussed previously, what would be the example flow of the submission. Right. Now, the basic guidelines are you should obviously choose a topic that suits you, right? Now, once you choose the topic, you should focus on completing the solution, which is feature complete, right? Now, all the submission should include a working code implementation, so not half or incomplete cases. You need to have the complete working solution. In case there is any tests that are required, you should write the unit tests. In case there are any integration tests, any other tests required, you should work with that, right? Now, whatever solution that you have implemented, you should have a clear documentation where you would mention how to set it up. If there is any code changes on the usage, you have to mention the usage examples. If there is any API that is updated, you have to mention that. If there are any architecture decisions, any changes in the current architecture, you have to mention that too. Now, once you have completed this code, you need to raise a PR. We'll go through that steps. How would you do that? Along with that, we'd actually encourage you to showcase your solution to the world, so that it is a proud moment for you guys too, right? You can write a blog, maybe media blog or something, or a LinkedIn post. In case you write something, just let us know. We'll also share it with others. And once you have completed your code solution, you have to create a PR, a pull request against the hackathon branch. We'll see that in detail. Now, basic requirements that we are looking at is the code should be well written. It should be in having good quality, and also all the features that you implement should not break the existing library itself, right? So if there is any framework that is being used, you can use the same framework. If there is any version that is being used, just make sure you continue with the same version unless there is a explicit reason to do so, and then you can communicate with us on that, and we'll let you know if that is something you need to proceed with. Right? Now, as you guys might already know, in for communication, you can use the WhatsApp group, the Slack channel, or you can directly call, email us your queries in agentneo@raga.ai, and we'll respond back to you. Um, so any of you guys who haven't already contributed to an open source package can use this guide. This walks you through a step-by-step guide on how to contribute to a particular repository. And you can go through this, and in case you have any doubts on this, just let us know. Now, coming back to the example that I was discussing about. So in the previous topics, there were many different examples. One of them was you could add support for llama index tracing in our package. So let's say you are someone who has decided that I'll work on this particular topic, and I'll be implementing llama index tracing for this. So how would you go about that? So the primary step is to actually have your team registered. So in case you haven't registered your team, you can register your team. And in case you are someone who would like to work solo, you are obviously welcome to do that too, right? And once you have registered your team, or you have decided to work solo, you can next step is to go to the AgentNeo package itself, to the hackathon branch. Now, why I'm stressing this again and again is make sure you use this particular branch only. There are other branches which might have a different code, and this is the branch against which we'll evaluate you. So make sure you clone, first you fork the AgentNeo repository and create a copy of the AgentNeo repository on your personal account, on your username, and the branch that you have to fork is the hackathon branch, not the main branch. Make sure you fork only the hackathon branch. Now that you have forked it, you have a copy of AgentNeo in your local code repository, right? In that, you can create a new branch. So as I said, I'm working with llama index tracing, right? So I create a branch name called feature slash llama index tracing, which is a very good branch name, which shows what I'm working with. I need to install the dependencies to get everything running. Now, before even starting to implement, something I'll need to be aware of is what is the code structure of AgentNeo. So you can go to the library walkthrough. And since I am someone who has decided to work with the tracing part, so obviously my mind would tell me to just focus on the tracing module itself. So in the tracing module, there are different files like init file, LLM tracer, tool tracer, user interaction tracer, etc. So LLM tracer is the one which contains code related to LLM. So now that I have decided I need to integrate Llama index, I'll be working with the LLM tracer.py file, and make sure this is only a demo. So whatever is being shown here, you shouldn't submit that as a solution, because it is not a complete solution and it may not even be a good solution. So there could be better solutions too, right? So don't just publish this as a solution or submit it. This is not something we'll accept, right? Now, I have come across the file which I need to edit. Now, I'll make some edits, right? Obviously, since I need to add support to Llama Index, I saw that though already OpenAI and LiteLM are being traced using some particular syntax using a function called wrapped. So I'm using the same function to trace Llama Index, and I have written some files, right? I have created in the LLM tracer.py, I made some additions, and in another file, I made similar additions. I made again changes to another function in the same LLM tracer. Then I completed all the code changes I wanted. So this is a demo code changes that we want. And then I also added an example of the particular syntax that llama index syntax that it would work with, right? Now I have completed all the code, right? And I'm happy with the code. I have tested it in my local system and I believe that it is perfect. And this is something that would win me the first prize. Now, since I'm happy with it, I now need to work on the documentation part, right? I create, there is already a readme.md. I update the readme.md that to say that the Llama index support has been added. I add examples to the example directory. And in case I made any API documentation changes, I would also write that down. Now, since I have written the documentation, I'm very happy with all the features I made. I would also like to add some tests to make sure my code works in all scenarios. So I added some tests. This is a demo of a test that you can add. And I have run my tests. Again, I'm perfectly happy because my tests run very well. I did the documentation changes too. Now, since my code works well, I did the documentation changes, testing is done, and everything is perfect. Now, my next step is to submit my solution. So to submit the solution, the first step is to create a commit, right? Since I did all the code changes, I'll add a commit named, I have added the Llama index tracing support. Now, since I push this commit, did this commit, then I'll push this commit. And where did I push this commit to? I pushed this commit to the copy of the AgentNeo repository, which I made on my account, right? But I need this code to go back to AgentNeo. Now, how would I do that? I'd create a pull request. I create a PR against the AgentNeo's hackathon branch. Again, make sure you don't do it against any different branches. You'll create a PR. The steps are given in detail here. You can go through that. Now, once I have created a PR, now I need to tell that I have submitted this solution. Now, this is where the previous form I shared in the first page, there were two links. One was the team registration form, and then there was a contribution evaluation form. So you can go to this form, and in this form, there would be details regarding your name, your team, and the PR details. What is the PR that you have submitted? The URL of the PR and a short description of your PR. It would also ask you further details on the PR. And once you have submitted that, you have submitted it for evaluation. This completes the complete process. You can then go and work on the next feature. Yeah, right. So this is the complete set of procedures that you have to complete to submit a solution. So as I said, you have to first write the code, complete the test, push the code, create the PR. Now, since you have created the PR, it is not complete. You have to also submit the form. So this is a complete procedure. Um, Once you have done that, be happy, and then you can work on the next feature, right? Now, we have gone through the library structure. We have gone through the different topics in the hackathon. We have gone through the submission guidelines. Then the next biggest part for you guys is the frequently asked questions, where we would keep on adding more FAQs. Like let's say people have different questions, we'll be adding it here. There are already some questions, you can go through the two. So Vaibhav has asked a question, can I make multiple changes in on push, for example, for tracing and evaluation part? So Vaibhav, as a good programming practice, right? What we would encourage is, like, let's say if you are picking one particular feature, maintain a branch for that feature, and all the changes for that particular feature you push to that particular branch. So I'm someone who is enthusiastic, and I'm confident enough that I can work in two features at a time. Let's say, then I create two branches, a branch for feature A and a branch for feature B, and whatever changes I need to do for feature A, I'll push to the branch for feature N. So this helps me to, let's say I'm working on both the branches at the same time, both the features at the same time, but somehow during till the submission date, I was only able to complete feature A and not feature B. So I'd be able to at least give a perfect reply, right? So, but in case you combine everything into a single branch, it would finally affect you because any issue with one particular branch would affect the other two. So ideally, for each feature, create a separate branch and then push it. Ujjwal has asked, so we need to submit a form every time we submit. Yeah. Yes, yes. But make sure that once you create a PR, right, that is a complete feature. Don't if you create multiple PRs for the same feature at different stages of your development, it will come across like spamming, right? Which would decrease your chances. So better is to create a final PR which you're confident enough and then submit. Right. So we have discussed the FAQs, right? And you'll be shared this notion. Here you'll have all the details. Now, just to remind you guys, you have lots of prizes to win. The first prize includes $1,000 in cash, and then some credits on um, RagaAI's software, and you'd be featured on the GitHub too. Similarly, for second prize, there is $500 cash. Again, you'll be featured on the GitHub. Third prize is $250 in cash. And then there are some community prizes. As we discussed earlier, there is more chance for you to get more prizes. Like in case you have a very good topic you suggested, it is selected, you have 500. So same feature means subparts. Exactly. So each of the subparts like 1.1, 1.2, etc. are features, right? So that is each individual feature. Hope I answered your queries. So we'll be sharing this as soon as this is complete, and the recording would be available to you within a few hours as this concludes. And feel free to use the WhatsApp to ask us any queries, including the about the library or the topics or the submission, anything else. Um, any further questions, guys? Sure. So I think you guys would need time to go through this. So go through this. Um, let's make sure you are thorough on this, and in case of any doubts, just let us know. Thanks. Thanks everyone for joining, and best of luck. Make sure these 7 days you make good friends here. You improve your skills as well as make it a memorable hackathon. Thanks. Bye, guys.